Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. So, it's a semi impromptu live tonight where I ask the question, do we have art for money or money for art? So, uh, it's an informal discussion, guys. So, please be respectful in the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, please be respectful in the comments. um, if you guys agree with some of the news I say, great, fantastic. If you disagree, that's fantastic too. You guys have more than enough time and place to discuss and to show and tell what you think of what I have to say. Okay, so don't be shy. Definitely comment in the chat and in the comments what you guys think. Hello, hello, white collar general. Thank you for being here and patiently waiting. So I'm glad to see you here. So, again, guys, I don't mind if you guys disagree with me or think differently than I do. Just be respectful when you're presenting your thoughts, and we can hopefully have a wonderful discussion. So I'm not going to delay it that much further. Going to go take a quick little commercial break, and then we're going to get right into it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the show. And like I said, we won't go very far. I'm going to do my typical intro, and we'll be right back, guys. So yeah, that was my nice little intro. So basically, today, like I said, it's a semi-impromptu um, discussion on art and passion and taking money in the art world. Okay, because you guys do know I do have a series on art, museums, and things like that. So today I won't be talking about a particular artist per se, but really just that potential um, as an artist. Now, when I say artist, I'm talking just as much about actors like Will Smith and Chris Rock, who of course are big news for hashtag the slap. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into that and whether it's real, it's fake, the beef or not, or that's really not the point of this show. There's plenty of channels out there that have created content about it. So if you guys really want to have a conversation about it, my live today is not for you. Okay, so uh, excuse me. Um, like I said, I'm really just talking about whether pursuing art as a career really is a good idea or not. And again, I'm going to give you guys my personal thoughts, my personal opinions on the matter, and that's all they really are, just my personal thoughts and opinions. You guys definitely have the right to agree. So, because it's my personal opinions, of course, I don't have necessarily statistics and facts, and it's, scientifically proven. I'm just giving you guys what I think here. I will give you guys some examples, of course, because I do want to make myself as clear as possible. But again, you guys will think what you guys think. You guys will say what you guys say. You might agree, you might disagree. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with you guys disagreeing with me as long as you guys are being respectful on how you present yourself. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Um, so one of the things, what brought me to talk about this was two things. Now, part of it was, yes, the Will Smith and Chris Rock incidents, because let's be honest, guys. Most of us work, right? Most of us have a 9 to 5 job or some kind of job or career. We're all earning our money, right? We're doing some kind of work where they expect us to be at the office from X time to Y time. You take X amount of lunch break. You have two 15-minute paid breaks, whatever the case might be, right? Most of us, it's a 9 to 5, but even if it's not exactly a 9 to 5, most of us have some kind of job where they have a certain amount of expectations for you, and for consequence, they give you a certain amount of money, right? They expect you to do Y, and you get money for it, right? So if I went and slapped one of my coworkers, I would be fired for this, right? I would be out of a job right away. My boss isn't waiting for, oh, but let's find out the explanation. Oh, they've been nominated for XYZ thing, so let's see if they win or not. And then, no, I'm fired right away. HR is getting involved, perhaps even the police. You know what I mean? So obviously, there are a certain amount of leniencies that are given to certain artists if you have the right last name, if you're making enough money, whatever the case might be, right? While as if, like I said before, if I do it or you do it, we would not get away with any of this, right? We would be fired on the spot, right? So obviously, your fame does allow a certain amount of things to happen or not happen, right? Now, obviously, there's the whole Epstein things, and of course, again, that's not the whole point of my episode tonight. So I'm not going to go into details. I'm just using that as an example of sometimes your fame, your last name, the power that you have in Hollywood, in the art world in general, will allow you to get away with things that if it was just, you and me doing these things, most of us would be in jail right away, right? Most of us would be in trouble with the law. So I'm going to go into depth a little bit more about that in a second, guys. But again, I'm just giving you guys my personal opinions, my personal thoughts. I'm not telling you guys that what I have to say tonight is facts and you have to believe me or else. No, I'm just telling you guys what I'm thinking right here, right now on this particular topic. And you definitely have the right to disagree with me and say, you know what, I'm full of shit or full of poo poo, whatever you want to say. Okay? So one of the things, the other thing that got me talking about this is I saw an episode from Cinnamon Toast Ken. It's a channel that I follow and I enjoy. They also have a playlist of To Catch a Predator. Um, I find that their take on this show, there's a lot of people that talk about To Catch a Predator, but I find it very they bring that right balance between taking the matter seriously because obviously CP or child P, yeah, I think you guys could figure out what the P is for, right? They have that right balance of taking it seriously because obviously this is not a topic that um, should be mocked all the way through. And who cares about kids? No, of course not. There's you do have to give it a certain amount of weight to it. There's a certain amount of seriousness, but they also know how to joke about uh, the people that are victimizing others. So they're not laughing or mocking the victims or potential victims. I don't want to give you guys that idea that that's what they're doing, but they're making a mockery of the individuals that are um, attacking children, right? They're not going after the victims. Quite the contrary, I think they're doing a good job of protecting victims and really making sure that, hey, watch out for these types of people. Here's the things that um, that you kind of have to look for, but also mocking the predators, right? They're mocking those individuals, and those individuals should be mocked. They should be antagonized. At least that's my personal opinion on the matter. But I digress. That's not the point of this live, so please forgive me on that little rant there. But they did an episode on it's called World's Most Expensive Things Rich People Actually Buy, right? So they talked about some of the things that wealthier individuals spend their money on. When you're talking about somebody like Bill Gates, who makes what, 60, $70 billion every year, or has that much in assets, or whatever, however you want to look at it. What are they going to do with their money, right? It's not like you and me where I have an extra 20 bucks. Okay, what can I do? Oh, let's go see a movie, right? Or let's go to the 99-cent store and, fill my basket full of chocolate bars or whatever the case might be. These are individuals that obviously have a few millions to spare. So what are they going to do with their money? So of course, some of the expensive things that were listed were, of course, artwork, and art in general. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let's take a moment to look at some of the expensive artwork that's available, right? And to sort of that got me, well, you know what? This is how much some artists could potentially make, but obviously, um, this isn't the example of typical artists, right? Most artists aren't making that kind of money. So of course we're gonna look into this a little bit further. And again, guys, I'm just giving this as examples. And I really just wanted to be clear that I'm just, talking about my own personal opinion here. Okay, so we're going to go on to, of course, my favorite Wikipedia to show you guys some of the expensive artwork that's available out there. Obviously, these are artworks that have already been purchased, so they may not be on the market for resale, but even if they were, I know I couldn't afford them, and many of you may not be able to afford them either. Some of you might be, who knows? I don't know how deep your pockets go. I'm not into your lives that much, but hopefully I find out one day. Hopefully we can have that kind of friendship where you guys feel comfortable telling me what's going on. All right, so I'm just gonna take a second to change the music. I don't really like this particular song here. Let me change it to this here. Okay, that's a lot better. There we go. Hello, hello, Lashes Journey. Thank you for being here. I know you're still doing your live, but thank you for stopping by. I didn't want to, hey, come to my live and just, oh, wait, no, you actually ended your live. How dare you? How dare you end your live? I was still supporting you. Anyways, I'm glad to have you here, Lashes Journey. How are you? I hope you're doing well tonight. Thank you for stopping by here. So, anyways, Lashes, just to let you know, I'm talking about art. Should we do it as passion, or is are we doing art for the money? Yeah, it is over, Lashes. How dare you end your live stream on me like this? Come on. How dare you? I kid, I kid. I hope your day went well. I did catch a lot of your live. Obviously, as you know, I do work, and tonight when I got home, it was one of those nights where I needed to sit back, relax, and just play you in the background, kind of thing. And I do have a couple other lives, a few tabs as well going on. So yeah, so tonight, like I said, I'm talking about art. Should we just no, don't worry about it, Lashes. I don't expect everybody to worship me in my lives. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. I'll get to, my goals one way or the other. And I'm just glad that you rock with me when you do. It's absolutely fine. So like I said, I was saw an episode from a YouTuber that I do follow, and I do enjoy their content where they talk about in this episode some of the expensive things that wealthier individuals buy, and of course, some of those items were artwork. So I'm going to show you guys quickly a Wikipedia list of some of the very expensive artworks that are examples of potential money that certain artists can potentially make. But of course, these are not the examples of, the typical artists, right? Most artists are not making this kind of money, right? Most artists are, the same goes, are starving artists, right? They're, quote unquote, starving students, to put it in a different way, right? These are individuals that more often than not are basically living paycheck to paycheck. And of course, C19, we won't say the name, but we all know what I'm talking about, of course, has not helped artists at all. They're probably one of the most, the groups that really are struggling the most, generally speaking, right? But again, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just giving you guys my personal thoughts tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and show you guys some of the artworks that has sold for quite a big price. It's definitely not the kind of artwork that I'm going to be purchasing anytime soon on the salary that I'm making. So let's go ahead and show you guys that list here. So of course, guys, you guys know me well enough. I'm going to be dealing with this on Wikipedia. As much as people like to poopy on this website. I love Wikipedia. It's definitely, in my personal opinion, a great resource for information and this sort of jumping off point to get more information. And so the sort of, if you really want to go in the rabbit hole, Wikipedia is a great place to start. It's a starting point. You definitely have great basic information here, and if you want to go into in depth into a topic, Wikipedia will definitely give you the resources to do that. So obviously, as you guys can see, this is obviously list of the most expensive paintings. Okay. Now, obviously, I could have put it for artwork in general, or we could look up music or sculptures or whatever. But I just want to have a talking point, and I do enjoy a nice painting. So here we are. All right. So as you can see on the right hand side, this is one of the most expensive paintings, which was Salvador Mundi, and it's by Leonardo da Vinci, obviously. Now, obviously, this is one of the paintings that seems very familiar to us because it often, as you can see, oh, look at that, it looks very much like a modern portrait of Jesus, right? Now, obviously, we could go in a debate whether this is actually what Jesus looked like or not, or if it's whitewashing, or is it is Israelite back 2,000 years ago? Is he really gonna look about this? Probably not. Okay, but that's a debate for another day, another vlog. Okay, but this is one of the paintings that were sold and one of the most expensive paintings that's out there. So we're gonna go down the list, and we're not gonna go through it one by one and, oh, was this a right price or not. I'm just giving you guys here some examples of what kind of money people are willing to spend on paintings, right? So this painting that we just saw, Salvatore Mundi, sold for excuse me, and it is in, as you can see, millions of USD dollars. So it sold for 475.4 million American dollars. The original price was $450 million, and it was first painted by Salvador Dali. This one, the third one, is 229 million, and it is "When Will You Marry Me" by Paul Gauguin. All right, excuse me, guys. And we're just gonna go quickly down. And I did like to see this one here, Vincent Van Gogh. It's a Portrait de l'artiste sans barbe, so a portrait of the artist without a beard. So this is one of his likeness, and this one was sold for $113.5 million. Okay, we're just gonna take a closer look at it here. Looks kind of sad in this painting, to be honest, at least as far as my personal opinion. So this is a little bit quick of some of the works that have been sold at a very big price. Now I'm just giving you guys here these examples of what I'm talking about as to how much artists could potentially make. Now I say could potentially make. This is a piece of work that was sold well after the passing away of Vincent Van Gogh. Okay, Van Gogh was long since deceased when this painting was sold. Consequently, he did not see a penny of that money, and most likely neither did his family. Okay, so his children, his grandchildren, his cousins, his uncle, none of these individuals most likely saw that money. So not only did the artist not profit from the sale of this painting, even though it was his painting that he did, okay, and yeah, he could have sold it to one particular person for let's say $200. Let's say I don't know how much Van Gogh actually sold this painting for, but let's say it was $200, right? Now you see it's being sold for 113 million. So even though Vincent made $200 off of it, for him maybe he was more than satisfied and happy with that 200, and had no problem with the 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 purchaser reselling it for 400. Okay, he didn't really care. Hey, I made my 200. Okay, you want to sell it for 400? That's good business. No problem, right? Um, but when you see that 500 years later, 100 years later, X amount of times later, right? The artist made $200, and now you see that it's being sold for over 113 million. That's a big difference, right? And the artist, like I said, he's not making profit out of it. And that's where there's a difference between somebody like a painter and an actor. Actors are often part of the Actors Guild, which of course protects their rights as artists. And you have oftentimes for actors or musicians, for example, you have in perpetuity. So basically, what happens is that as long as the show is making money, so are the actors, so are the musicians who made the background music, who made the opening, the intro, the outro, right? They're also making money. So if that show makes $1 million in reruns, and you have the right to, 0.05% of in perpetuity, you're making 0.05% for life. As long as that $1 million is being made, you're making money too, right? Painters don't have that luxury. They don't have in perpetuity. Once that painting is sold and they get their money, that's it. So if I purchase an original Van Gogh painting for $200 from the artist himself, and I decide to sell it for 500, well, great. I just made a $300 profit. Or I decide to keep it and give it as an inheritance to my children or grandchildren, and they sell. Oh well, that painting from Van Gogh made $100 million. I have an original, and I can prove it's an original Van Gogh painting. Let me sell it for 200 million. Okay, they can do it. There's nothing legally or morally stopping them from them doing that. So why would I? That's basically, my talking point tonight. Why would I, as a potential artist, why would I get myself into a career where I don't profit from it? I don't benefit from the work that I do, right? Because, like I said, with a 9 to 5, if I spend 40 hours a week at work, I get paid for 40 hours a week of work. Whether I'm doing good work, bad work, I spent the full 40 hours actually working, or I was on smoke break all the time, it doesn't matter. I'm getting paid a same amount, right? Whilst for an artist, not only do I have to make sure that the quality and quantity of my work is there, but I have to convince people that I'm the artist for you. You want my work and not somebody else's, right? Um, so yeah, there's some degree there's that for for any job that you do. How many people want to be a cashier? Especially when you're 16, 17 and it's your first job, you're not out there looking to be a multi-trillionaire, being a CEO, right? Hello, hello, Ricky Life 365. Glad to have you here. I'm just giving you guys my personal opinion on whether or not we should do art as passion or as a career, right? So again, it's just my personal opinion, Ricky. I hope that you stay and have a discussion with me. But even if you're just here to support, I appreciate it and thank you for being here, taking time out of your day to spend a few minutes with me. So yeah, so basically, yeah. So you have most artists that you're very much dependent on other people appreciating your art. You really want to see more of it, and really, you have to put yourself out there. You're taking a risk. It's not. It's not like being a doctor or nurse, where, of course, being a doctor or nurse, there's a certain amount of uh, people's lives are in your hand, right? As an artist, you realize that, look, I'm not out here saving people's lives by my photography, right? I am an amateur photographer, as I said. I now realize that, look, I just take photos because that's what I enjoy. I know I'm not saving nobody's life. I know I'm not, oh my God, she stole my father's, photo of this sculpture. It was so, so amazing. I now, it took me out of, my, of self deleted mode. No, of course not. I'm not, that foolish into thinking that. Um, but when you realize that you go into certain careers or certain jobs, knowing full well you're not going to be a multimillionaire, you're not going to make money off of it, and you still do it, to me, I find that highly respectful. And especially with C19, a lot of people really still underappreciated how important the arts were. So let's see what Ricky you have to say. I like art as a passion. I would not do it for a career. No, you're absolutely right. Most people, and that's what I will show in a moment. Most people, when it comes to arts, uh, they're not going to make big money on it, right? Musicians, for the most part, don't make big money. Sculptors don't make big money for the most part, right? So unless you're, well, Will Smith, where you can afford to smack one on Chris Rock, most of us, most actors, most artists, you're not making big money, right? You're not going to be a multimillionaire or a multi-trillionaire during your lifetime. In fact, the reason why I mentioned Van Gogh before is painters in particular, but not exclusively. Once they pass away, that's when they make their money, unfortunately. So while they're alive, they might make a decent salary. They might make a profit. Sure, maybe it could happen. But for the most part, it's really only after they pass away that they make big money. And even then, it's not all artists, right? Most people, if you talk about, let's say, Leonardo da Vinci, if you ask them what era did he live in and name 10 other artists from that era, most people probably wouldn't know, right? Most of us probably know the big names. We will know the ones that, like Van Gogh, make news because one of their paintings sold for X amount of millions. But for the most part, most artists are starving artists, are really living paycheck to paycheck. So I'm going to show you guys another little tidbits here, and it's of that's what I like. Emploi Canada or Canada Employment does have information about potential careers that you could have in Canada and how much you could make doing that job in the country. So I did select musicians as one of the options. So just give me a second, guys. I do need to take a little water break. My throat feels a bit dry, so just give me a moment, guys. All right, thank you for your patience. So yeah, I'm going to share your screen. And yeah, Ricky, you're right. Most artists do not can't really make a career out of um, out of their work. Unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate, but we'll get into that in a moment. So I just got to give you guys a little bit of statistics. So I do try to back up at least some of what I said, but like I said, tonight it's really not about the scientific background. I'm just saw what was going on, and sort of some some things that I saw on the news. I really just put it together, and really clicked, and just wanted to come out here and talk about it a little bit. So here in Canada, in Quebec in specific, if you are going to be a musician, your hourly salary, the median is $23 an hour, and that you will actually need a university degree in being something in musician, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into great details because, like I said, that's not the point. So when they say musicians, they mean musicians and singers perform with orchestras, choirs, opera companies, and popular bands in establishments such as concert halls, lounges, and theaters, and in film, television, and recording studios. This unit group also includes music teachers who also teach in conservatories, academies, and private homes. Okay, so again, this is just to give you guys a basic idea. I'm not going to go into depth into any of this. It's just so that you guys have an idea, right? So $23 an hour, it's not horrible, you know. What they're saying, $15 an hour is what the livable wage is. Um, so at 23, you're above the livable wage, and I mean 23, it's not horrible. I mean, I was a bit surprised that it was that much. I was expecting it to be closer to the 15, maybe even under. Okay, so it's not horrible, right? But that's the median, right? And look, it's good for. I mean, honestly, for me, if I was a musician, $23 an hour, that's not bad. It's not bad. Like I said, you're not making millions, of course, but we're not talking about the that 1%, right? There's always the 1% in every career and every job, right? That one musician that everybody knows. Like everybody knows Dr. Dre, right? Everybody knows Eminem. Everybody knows. There's all that one musician or a few or whatever that the Dixie Chicks or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always going to be those artists that we all know and that probably is making big bucks, right? And that's probably the reason why the salary is $23 an hour and not 13 or not $3 an hour or whatever it is, right? Um, there are going to be obviously exceptions, right? But for the most part, most people in the as musicians are probably hovering somewhere around the 23, right? Plus or minus. So again, I'm just giving you guys this as an example. No, that's not the point, but really just so that you guys, if you are going to follow your passion, um, yeah, it's definitely a hit or miss. Yeah, and definitely Lashes definitely likes to uh, talk about her plants, and I do want to see Lashes. I want to see you planted more. Come on. I'm living vicariously through you here. My garden needs to be tended, so please start tending to your garden more, please. I need my peppers. I need my peppers for the summer. Okay, I need fresh Lashes, dirty peppers, and onions and thyme. I think I saw you plant. So please get your garden going. Okay. I kid. But yes, for most part, most musicians, most artists are, of course, not making huge money, right? Like any career, you're going to have a certain amount of exceptional individuals that are bringing the scale down, sorry, bringing the scale up, and then the vast majority that are bringing the scale down for better or for worse, right? So obviously, if you're going into the arts as a passion, do expect that you're not going to make a whole lot of money, and you do have to be mindful of that. And I'm not against people following their passion, but you also have to be realistic, right? In this day and age, rent costs money, right? Excuse me. Your food costs money, electricity costs money, right? How are you going to pay for that? Now, what I've seen, and I don't have the articles with me because, again, that's not the point. I've heard a lot of, for example, sculptors back in the day when, the fake arms and the fake legs, those were often made by hand, right? Those are often things that people had to build one by one and really um, customize it for the individual. What would some sculptors do? Well, rather than worry about, oh, I want to make my career as a sculptor, well, let's get into this industry, right? Because again, making a hand or a foot or whatever the case may be, making prosthetics, again, used to be done a lot by hand. So this was a career where if you're a sculptor and you're really good at it, you could make decent money. You could make good money. So even though you're not entering into your passion, you're still able to use your skills as a sculptor to not only make money, make a career, but also potentially help other individuals as well. Hello, hello, Benjamin Harvard. How are you? I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here in my chat. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. Please feel at home. I have digital adult drinks, I have digital food. Help yourself and do participate in the chat and the discussion with us. So today I am talking about whether you should follow your passion, i.e., arts, or if you should enter only in the careers that will make you money. Okay, and I'm just giving you guys my personal opinions. So you're more than welcome, Benjamin, to disagree with me, to agree with me, whatever the case might be. It's absolutely fine as long as we're all respectful to each other. That's absolutely fine. I have no problems with people disagreeing with me. I don't like it all the time. Sometimes it hurts, but hey, you know what? We're all adults here. And like I said, if we're all respectful, I'll get over it and we'll move on. So welcome, welcome, Benjamin, and don't be afraid to speak your mind, say what you have to say, and hopefully you enjoy my show. So yeah, so basically, of course, I've spoken to you guys. I've shown you some of the statistics. Being a musician here in Quebec can potentially make you plus or minus $23 an hour, which is not bad, right? It's not $1 million an hour, of course. We would all like to make $1 million singing or dancing or whatever, but of course, we have to be realistic. Now, one of the things that I noticed, and I don't know if you guys noticed this as well, that when, of course, the big bad C-19 came out, and of course, we all first went into lockdowns. Now that was 2 years ago now. Can you imagine? The first lockdowns occurred in March 2020. So that was 2 years ago, folks. We've been dealing with C-19 for 2 years now, right? It doesn't feel like it's been that long. It doesn't feel that we've had to deal with this for that long. So, of course, back in the day when that first came out, I don't know about you guys, but for me, YouTube was needed. I really looked at YouTube as an escape, as a way to really just forget about all the horrible things that were happening. Now, even though I wasn't personally affected by C-19, thankfully, all of my family were safe and sound, and I hope you guys can say the same as well. I hope none of you guys were personally affected by C-19. But even if you were, I hope that you're better now. I hope that your family member or if it was a friend, I hope they're doing better now as well. But if they did pass away, my condolences. And I'm not here to make light of that either, guys. It's definitely not fun to lose family members to a pandemic. Okay? But I know for me, when C-19 first hit, my photography YouTube, all of that definitely became an escape from the harsh reality. So even though I wasn't going through C19 myself or had family members going through it, it definitely wasn't fun. Uh, knowing will my friends be affected by it? Will my coworkers be affected by it? Right? It's definitely not something that is fun to hear about. So for me, C19, you know, it was definitely not a fun thing, right? So having YouTube really was helpful. But imagine somebody somewhere has to sit down and create that content, right? Music videos don't get created by themselves, right? TV shows don't get created by themselves. You need to have people doing that, right? Don't worry, Samantha. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad. Don't worry. I get it. It's a late night. I was kind of debating whether I looked at the time that I set it, set my live at. I'm like, oh, I set that kind of late here. I'm tired myself as well. But thank you for stopping by, Samantha, and spending a few minutes. And even if you see this on replay, guys, I'm not insulted by that. That's absolutely fine. I know that part of the reason why I don't get a whole lot of watch time, I don't get a million and one people in my chat is that I tend, especially since I started my second job, I tend to do my lives at the end of the day, late at night, when a lot of you guys are ready to go to bed. So don't worry if you're only able to spend a few minutes with me, that's absolutely fine. If you're only able to catch me on the replay and comment in my comments, that's absolutely fine. Hello, hello, Will Rich, Unstoppable Entertainment. Thank you for being here and thank you for spending a few times with me. Yeah, don't worry about it, Samantha. If you want to rewatch this tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. I definitely understand. Have a great night, Samantha, and I hope you enjoy watching this on the replay. So don't worry, guys. I don't take it as a personal insult if you're not able to watch my lives while the live is going. I do understand that, like I said, I do tend to do my lives late at night. Like a lot of you guys, I'm at work during the day. Then I come home. Of course, I want to change and have dinner and all of that. So I'm not always able to do my lives during the day when I would like to. I'm obviously working, so I have to do it when I do it. So I am looking to revamp my channel a little bit in consequence and maybe do things a little bit differently and maybe just set my videos as premieres potentially or just longer videos later on. But I'll see because I do notice that when I record on StreamYard that the volume of my videos tends to be a lot lower than when I do a straight out live. So I have to look into that and see if I need to buy a new microphone or maybe there's something in my settings that I need to adjust. But that's another here nor there. So we'll get back to my topic. But again, guys, thank you for any amount of support that you guys give me, whether it's just spending a few minutes with me or watching this entirety, this live in the entirety in replay. I'm absolutely fine either way with that. Okay. So yeah, so as I was saying, basically, when you go into the arts as a career, there's a certain amount of expectations that you should have for yourself. Because yes, you could be the next Van Gogh or the next Picasso or the next Will Smith rapping or whatever, you could potentially make a lot of money, right? Now, in some cases, hello, you can't fool pops. Thank you for stopping by and spending a couple of minutes with me. Hang up your Christmas decorations here. They're safe. Don't worry. Thank you. Are you still live? I think you're still live. I think you're one of my tabs that's still going. But thank you for spending a few minutes here with me in any event. Oh, your live also ended as well. Okay, but thank you for stopping by. Thank you for coming. Hopefully, you do spend some time with me. Um, but in any case, thank you for your support, sir. Have a great time, and hopefully, we are able to have a nice little chit chat with each other. So as I was saying, sometimes you do get into careers or you make choices that kind of, like you do it more out of, okay, I need to either be the dreamer and hope that I end up in the career and I end up with the results that I want, or you have to say, you know what, never mind the dreams, never mind the hopes and the positivity. Let me be practical, let me be realistic here. And kind of what I was going out with the whole, some sculptors get into making prosthetics is that sometimes it's really just a question of rebranding yourself. It's like, when you kind of um, with sculpting, it's you're creating things with your hand, right? With your hands, I should say. Um, and you kind of have to look at it as a way sometimes where, okay, how important is it for me to be creating things artistically, or is it important that I create something, right? So that's kind of what I want to have with this debate and use sculptures as that sort of that turning point, because with sculptures you could just decide to sculpt something, a piece of work, right, an artwork, and just it is what it is, right? Maybe you're commissioned to it, i.e., somebody pays and says, "I'm going to give you $500 and I want you to make this, or I want you to make whatever." That's being commissioned, right? Or you can use your talents as a sculptor, right, to make prosthetics. Because, like I said, until fairly recently, prosthetics were more often than not made by hand individually. So if you were somebody that was missing two legs and an arm, well, somebody had to sit there and make you each leg and the arm that's missing by hand from scratch, right? It's not like today where you could potentially 3D print somebody's hand or arm or leg or whatever body part that's missing, right? Somebody had to take hours, days, weeks to make your a new hand, a new leg, or whatever the case might be, right? A finger, a thumb, whatever the case might be, right? So as a sculptor, you're kind of having to decide, well, what's more important, that I create something pretty to look at, that I create something of beauty, or do I create something that's useful, right? That helps somebody now to be able to hug their wife or their spouse or somebody, and maybe that person can't walk properly because they're missing an important part of their leg, right? So as a sculptor, what's more important for you? Creating something that is very pretty to look at, or you're helping now somebody to walk properly, right? Maybe that's the difference between getting a job that they want or need, or staying at home and getting a welfare check, right? So you kind of have to look at your passions in that same way as well. It's sometimes, yeah, you're going to just follow your passions and, like, you know what, screw helping people, or never mind whether I'm making $20 an hour or $200 an hour. I don't care. I really want to sing. I really want to dance, or whatever the case might be. And I'd rather die trying than not try at all, right? But you'll of course have individuals, like I said, like some sculptors that say, you know what, let me get into making prosthetics, right? It's really sometimes in some cases a question of how do I apply my talent in order to benefit me and other people potentially, right? Now again, I'm telling you guys this not to moralize you guys. I'm telling all you guys that so hopefully to get you guys to think about things, if not for yourself, because I know most of us are in our 30s and 40s. We've already made our career choices, right? But to sort of uh, have you maybe have that conversation with your children or grandchildren of what do you want to do as a living? Do you think I see that you're a great singer. Why not do this? Why not do that? Right? Have those kinds of conversations. And there's no right answer or wrong answer to these questions either, guys. Right? I'm not here to tell you, oh, everybody has to be an artist. Um, everybody here has to be, a doctor or whatever the case might be. Just give me a second, guys. My throat is a bit parched. Give me a second. All right, thank you. So the court could sort of circle back. I know I didn't really talk about it as much as I would have liked. And sort of when the whole C19 started, I like a lot of people, of course, I went to Netflix, I went to YouTube, I went to all these different art um, functions or careers or however you want to describe it, right? And it kind of got me thinking. Imagine all these people here took time out of their day, out of their lives to create these videos, right? To make these movies. Some of these people were paid, right? If it's on Netflix, chances are the person was probably paid, right? But a lot of what I did was on YouTube. Most YouTubers aren't making money. I know I'm not making money, at least not on YouTube, right? Hello, hello, problemo de YouTube channel. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo? I hope you're doing well tonight. Thank you for being here all the way from the Philippines. I hope you're doing well tonight. Salamat for being here. Thank you, sir. So, yes, I'm with me, problemado. I don't give moderators to anybody, everybody. Don't take it personally, please. As you can see, I have one, count him, one whole moderator, and that's Lash's journey. So please, like I said, don't take it personally. It's not that I don't like you. I just, for me, I'm very picky when it comes to my moderators. But I do want to get to know you, and yes, I have to be grateful to Diane for introducing us together. And hopefully we do get to know each other, because I do want to give people the moderator. I do want to give them the blue jackets as they're called, right? But for me, I'm very picky when it comes to that. I want to get to know you, whether it's on my lives or your own, before I give anybody a blue jacket, right? For me, that's something that people earn. Okay, but if I see that you're here regularly, if I get to know you, whether it's on my channel or on yours, and I see that hey, you're a great guy, you deserve it, you definitely will get it. Okay, so like I said, don't take it personally. Okay, guys, and that goes for everybody. Okay, I have one, count them one, one whole moderator, and that's Flash's journey at the moment. Okay, I'm very picky as far as who I make as my moderator. So for now, that's who it is. Okay, but uh, but definitely, problemado. If I see that you're the kind of person that you're a stand up guy and definitely trustworthy, I will make you eventually a moderator. But that's something for me personally. I have to see that you earn it, right? Okay, so like I said, guys, don't take it personally. I hope that you guys stick with me and give me a little bit of patience. I will mess up sometimes. Sometimes I think, I say or do things that you'll like. Sometimes I won't. So hopefully you guys stick with me through thick and thin. Hopefully. Anyways, we'll move on. So yeah, as I was saying, sometimes it's really a question of finding a way to combine your passion with your career, right? How do I make money off of what I enjoy, off of what I love doing, right? So that was the whole when I was saying, well, is as a sculptor, what's important for you, right? Is it making things that are pretty, or is it just making stuff, right? Because if it's a question of making things, as a sculptor, you can make things that are pretty and make things that are functional, right? So as a sculptor who's using that to make aesthetics, you're still a sculptor, right? You're still making something, but rather than it be something that's just simply pretty or to be looked at, you're making something that could potentially allow somebody to hold their child or function relatively normally in society, get a job, or whatever the case might be, right? Um, yeah. Thank you, Problemado. I know that a lot of people, I know in the Philippines, you guys are a few hours ahead. So I think it's what, 4 or 5 in the morning for you. So thank you very much for spending a few minutes in the early mornings for you with me, and have a great day. And I don't know if you're about to go to bed or maybe go to work, but have a great Thursday morning. Probably, yeah, yeah, Thursday morning for you. I hope your Thursday morning is wonderful, and thank you for spending a few minutes with me here. So yeah, so basically that's the point, right, guys? Sometimes um, when you're passionate about something, when you enjoy something, it's not always okay. I'm a photographer, so I'm just going to be a photographer. That's it. It's okay. What is it as a photographer? What is it that I'm actually doing, right? What are the tasks? What are the elements? What makes me a photographer, right? And how can I apply that to other things as well, right? Yeah, thank you, Paloma. And I definitely will be checking you out. So please continue to create content. I do have your bell set to all. So I will see when you create more videos, when you go live, etc. And when I can, I will be there. I admit I can't always be there for everybody all the time, but I'll do my best to support as many people as I can. So yeah, so sometimes as an artist, that's kind of um, that whole trick question of okay, is it art for the money or money for the art? Most of the time, if you're smart about things, if you're smart, look, I hate saying it that way because it makes it sound like some people are stupid when that's really not what I'm trying to say. Um, Depending on how you handle things, right? When you're taking down, okay, what makes me a sculptor, what makes me a photographer, what makes me a musician or whatever, you can, once you've broken down those elements and really thought of, okay, what am I trying to accomplish? You're able to say, you know what? Uh, for me, the whole point is I just want to create something, regardless of whether it's pretty, whether it's functional, both. Whether in the morning I'm creating prosthetics because hey, that's what my hands can have, and then during the evening I'm using the money for my career as somebody who's making prosthetics. I'm using that to get my supplies to now make I don't know 20-foot sculpture of prints or something, or whatever the case might be, right? That's fine. To me, it's a lot of the times following your passion is really just trying to figure out ways that yes, ideally you can make money off of your talent, off of what you're capable of, but oftentimes it's really just a question of okay, let me have this job, right? Let me get the source of income that allows me to have at least my basic necessities taken care of, but also follow my passion, because there are certain things like being a singer, for example. It's not a job or career that you can just take anywhere, right, and do everything, right? If you're a singer, that even though that means that you have a good lung capacity, doesn't mean you're going to be a great receptionist, right? Nobody wants to be sung to while you know they're trying to make a phone call and find out, hey, is this doctor's office, right? So a lot of the times, you might have to make a choice between either doing something you're passionate about or making money. But for some of us, thankfully, you can do both. You can make money off of something that you're passionate about, even if it might mean, okay, let me apply it in a different way, which is why I had come up with, that example of sculptors becoming uh, people that make prosthetics, right? They're using their basic talent of I'm able to make things um, and make a career out of it, right? And to me, none of these, there's like, no matter what perspective you're taking, it's not, you have to do it this way or else, right? There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer in this. There's only what works for you and what makes you feel accomplished and happy and safe in your life. Some of us hey, I can make prosthetics during the day and I can make a sculpture at night or vice versa, and they're happy with that. And even if you want to come out here and say, I'm just doing this for purely for money, as long as you're honest about it, as long as you're open about it, I have no problems or issues with you. Uh, to me, that's the basic starting point. It's just, well, be direct, be open, and we'll take it from there. You know. So, anyways, I won't go any further on the topic. I pretty much said what I felt like I needed to say on this, and really just, like I said, have you guys think about money and arts and whether we should get into it just to follow our hearts and what we love, or should we get into arts purely as a career, right? Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not telling you life advice here, guys. I'm just giving you guys my personal thoughts and opinion on the matter. And hopefully, guys, in the chat or in the comments, if you agree with something I said, if you disagree, please let me know. As long as you're respectful, I have no problems with that. So have a great night, guys, and I hope everybody is doing well. And I will leave you guys with the little end commercial for this particular live that I had today. So here we are. So yeah, tonight was about passion versus money, right? Which is more important for you, right? Is it one? Is it the other? Or is it both? Is it neither, right? So please, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, comment, like, subscribe, all of that sexy stuff. But any support that you guys show me is good support. So I hope you guys have a great night and I catch you guys in the streams.